You must be pleased with what Paul's doing now, John.
I'm pleased that everybody's doing well, you know. I'm more pleased that Ringo's doing well, you know, that he's got himself a good niche. Because I knew Paul would be all right. What the hell am I worried about him? You know, I know he's going to be all right. I was saying to somebody the other day, there's only two artists I've ever worked with for more than one night stand, as it were. That's Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono. I think that's a pretty damn good choice. Because in the history of the Beatles, Paul met me the first day I did Bebopaloola live on stage, okay? And a mutual friend brought him to see my group called the Quarrymen. And we met and we talked after the show, and I saw he had talent, and he was playing guitar backstage and doing 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran. And I turned around to him right then on first meeting and said, "Do you want to join the group?" And he said, And I think he said yes the next day, as I recall it. Now, George came through Paul, and Ringo came through George, although, of course, I had a say in where they came from, but the person I actually picked as my partner, who I recognized had talent and I could get on with, was Paul.
And I'm just wondering how unified any group can be, and I'm not singling out the group that you belong to, the Beatles, but how unified can any group be when the audience has certain favorites? Maybe they like Paul more than they like John or something like that. And I wonder, I got right to it, didn't I? Yeah. I just wondered if it's awfully difficult to be friends, and do you really care about whether or not you're friends when you are a group such as the Beatles, or whether you're the Rolling Stones or whoever?
We didn't break up because we weren't friends. We just broke up out of sheer boredom, you know. And boredom creates tension.
How can you get bored doing what you did?
Because it was going on, it was not going anywhere, you know. We'd stop touring, and we'd just sort of say, "Time to make an album," you know, go in the studio, and the same four of us would be looking at each other and playing the same licks. We were just a band who made it very, very big, that's all. You know, and sometimes our best work was never recorded, you know, because we were performers in spite of what Mick says about us in Liverpool, Hamburg, and around the dance halls, you know, and what we generated was fantastic. Well, we played straight rock, and there was nobody to touch us in Britain, you know. It was mainly fear, even though I wanted the Beatles thing to end. Just, I felt as though I couldn't breathe if it went on any longer. And also it was sort of dying, you know.
Do you think it was smothering you individually?
Yeah, it was that, and we were no longer enjoying it. And all through it, we really did enjoy it. There were lots of messing and times we hated it, but basically we did it because we liked it. The rewards were as a sort of bonus. We wanted to be musicians, we liked working together. It got boring, you know, and we got over all the actual fighting, the real nitty-gritty, dirty, you know, stuff, which had nothing to do with how popular we were. The same popularity, meaning Paul was always more popular than the rest of us, was going down in the dance halls in Liverpool, so it didn't come as any big surprise, you know. I mean, the kids saw him, the girls would go, ooh, you know, right away. So we knew where the score was there. But it was a group, it was the music that was interesting, that was important, not who was, you know, as long as we were, you know, going forward and going somewhere, it didn't matter. And I think we went through a little trauma of divorce because it was scary after being with people for 10 years suddenly to be out on your own. It's so cool saying, I want to leave you to anybody that you've been with for a long time, and then suddenly you're out on your own. It was really, I just got secure in my own work, because after the sort of demise of the Beatles so-called thing, I was a bit shook up, whether I knew it or not, you know. And of course it affected my work, and I was very insecure, and I'd be thinking, maybe Paul wrote everything, or maybe it was all George, you know, and maybe I didn't do anything, and I'd have to, and then I'd look through the list of songs and think, well, I did write that, well, I helped with that, oh, okay, I'm all right, Amy, I'm all right. So then I started doing my own work, and then when I got secure in myself, then I could allow her to work, you know, and so that's how it worked. And I think we've all adjusted to that. We're all doing well with our records, so that makes us confident enough to relax about it. And I think we've all established ourselves as individuals now.